Saints of the Day on Lumen Christi Television Network. Today we remember Saints Agape, Barak, Craton, Jordan, Faustinus, Jovita, Georgia, and a host of others. But for our reflection, we will focus on St Claude La Colombiere, whom the Church also honors today. St Claude La Colombiere is the 17th century French Jesuit who authenticated and wrote about Saint Margaret Mary Alacoque's visions of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Born in the south of France during the year 1641, Claude belonged to a family of 7 children, 4 of whom entered the priesthood or religious life. He attended a Jesuit school in his youth and entered the order himself at the age of 17. As a young Jesuit recruit, Claude admitted to having a horrible aversion to the rigorous training required by the order in this day. But the novitiate of the Society of Jesus focused and sharpened his natural talents, and he would later take a private vow to obey the order's rules as perfectly as possible. After completing his order's traditional periods of study and teaching, Claude became a priest in the year 1669. Known as a gifted preacher, he also taught at the college level and served as a tutor to the children of King Louis XIV's Minister of Finance. And so in 1674, the priest became the superior of a Jesuit house in the town. It was during this time, in his role as confessor to a convent of visitationist nuns, that Claude became involved in events that would change his own life and the history of the Western Church. One of the nuns later canonized as St. Margaret Mary Alacoque claims to have experienced private revelations from Christ, urging devotion to his heart as the symbol and seat of God's love for mankind. Within the convent, however, these reports met with dismissal and contempt. So during his time in Paris-l'Aumônière, Father La Colombiere became the non-spiritual director, giving careful consideration to her testimony about the purported revelations. He concluded that Sister Margaret Mary had indeed encountered Jesus in an extraordinary way. Claude's writings and his testimony to the reality of St. Margaret Mary's experiences helped to establish the Sacred Heart as a feature of Western Catholic devotion. This in turn helped to combat the heresy of Jansenism, which claimed that God did not desire the salvation of some people. In the fall of the year 1676, Father La Colombiere was called away from Paris-l'Aumônière to England during a time of tension in the religiously torn country. He ministered as chaplain and preacher to Mary of Modena, a Catholic who had become the Duchess of York. In 1678, a false rumor spread about an alleged Catholic plot against the English monarchy. The lie led to the execution of 35 innocent people, including 8 Jesuits. La Colombiere was not put to death, but was accused, arrested, and locked in a dungeon for several weeks. The French Jesuit held up heroically during the ordeal, but conditions in the prison ruined his health before his expulsion from England. He went back to France and resumed his work as a teacher and priest, encouraging love for Christ's Sacred Heart among the faithful. In 1681, Claude returned to Paris, the site of St. Margaret Mary's revelations. It was there that the 41-year-old priest died from internal bleeding on the year first Sunday of Lent, February 15, 1682. St Claude was beatified in 1929, 9 years after the canonization of St Margaret Mary Alacoque, and canonized 63 years later. When he canonized St Claude, Blessed John Paul II upheld him as a model Jesuit, recalling how the saint gave himself completely to the Sacred Heart, ever burning with love. Even in trials, he practiced forgetfulness of self in order to attain purity of love and to raise the world to God. Let us pray. Lord our God, you spoke to St. Claude in the depth of his heart that he might bear witness to your boundless love. May his gifts of grace illumine and comfort your church today. Amen. Thanks for staying with us. It's been Saints of the Day on Lumen Christi TV. Happy feast day to all those who bear the name Claude.
Upon a tree